Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am about to walk in to my very first infertility appointment. My husband and I have been trying for baby number 2 now for 12 cycles. Cycle 13 just started, and that means that I am officially diagnosed with secondary infertility, which means that we were able to get pregnant with one baby easily. We got pregnant with James, who turns 2 this month, after 6 months with no issues. But when it comes to trying for another baby, for whatever reason, you don't get pregnant within the usual range of a year. Today, they're gonna do a vaginal ultrasound, and they're going to check me for a bunch of different issues that could be inhibiting a pregnancy from sticking. They're gonna check to make sure my tubes are not blocked. They're gonna check for cyst, lining issues. They're gonna make sure I don't have scar tissue or endometriosis. They can see a lot through an ultrasound. So I'm doing that today, and I'm also going to be getting a bunch of blood work done on cycle day 3, which will be in 2 days. That's the day of your cycle that they like to get your baseline hormones tested so that they can make sure that all of my hormones are within a normal range. Honestly, most couples do get pregnant within a year. I think they say 90% of couples get pregnant within 12 cycles of trying. So the fact that we haven't, and the fact that we have a healthy baby that we just got pregnant with 2 years ago, or I guess 3 years ago by the time we actually first got pregnant with him, it seems strange. I don't have a ton of time before my appointment starts, so I just wanted to kind of say hi, intro the video, and I will update you guys after my appointment with whatever they found. All right, guys, so I'm back from my appointment. The good news is they did not see anything abnormal in my ultrasound. I do not have blocked tubes. I don't have scar tissue. I don't have any abnormal cyst. My lining is the correct thickness. The good news is everything looks really good in terms of my reproductive system working. In addition to that, she could tell that I had ovulated this last cycle, which I did think that I was ovulating every cycle. So from what she could see, it did look like I had in fact ovulated. And apparently I have a lot of follicles already growing for this cycle. I have at least 4 or 5 that she can already see on cycle day 1. Which she said was a really good sign. So she is putting me on Clomid this cycle, which I thought Clomid was only for people who don't ovulate, because I know that it causes you to ovulate. But apparently if you already do ovulate, what it can do is it can cause something called super ovulation, where your eggs are stronger and you have more of them release. Which she said that I have to do a monitored Clomid cycle, which means I have to come back in on day 10 of my cycle and have another scan to make sure that all 5 of the follicles aren't going to turn into eggs that then get released, because then I could end up with quintuplets of all of them fertilized. But ideally what would happen is I would have 1 or 2 stronger eggs release with Clomid, and it would just give me a higher chance at one of them sticking, because something is causing these eggs to not turn into pregnancies, and they don't know what it is yet. So the plan is I'm on cycle day 1 today. I'm going to start taking Clomid days 5 through 9, 50 milligrams, and then on day 10 I have to come back in for another ultrasound to make sure that I don't have too many follicles and eggs growing that are going to be released. If I do, then we're going to have to skip this cycle and not try this cycle, so that we don't end up with quintuplets. And if I just have a normal amount, then I am going to go ahead and try this cycle, and hopefully one of them will stick. So that's the plan. I also got blood work done. She wasn't able to do my fertility hormones because it's not the right day of your cycle to test those, but she did a thyroid test and an inflammation test and a couple of other things that she said could be the cause. All of the tests that she ran on me today I had done a year ago because I had some unexplained foot pain. It was this whole thing, and everything was normal a year ago. So it's probably not those things, but I am a big fan of having more information and testing things just so you can figure it out, because the fact is we should have been able to get pregnant in the last 12 cycles and we haven't. So we just need to figure out what it is. I think I'm just gonna kind of vlog this cycle because I've never been on anything to help with fertility. You know, we've only ever tried just on our own, and I know Clomid can have a bunch of side effects, and apparently it can cause your ovaries to get really big and uncomfortable. So I just kind of want to like vlog my experience with it, and then maybe even do a live pregnancy test at the end. And I've never actually filmed my like taking a pregnancy test, and it makes me really nervous just the thought of doing it on camera. But we've been trying so long for this baby that at this point I feel like I want to be a little bit more open, because it's a very lonely feeling process. Today is cycle day 3, and I'm going to be doing an at-home fertility panel called Modern Fertility. This is not sponsored, and I paid for this myself. I got it from Amazon. I really like the idea of testing all of my hormones to see if there is an issue that can be fixed, and I ran this idea by my doctor, and she was totally cool with it. It's completely legitimate. You take your blood at home, or you can go to a Quest lab and have them draw it for you, and you send it into a lab, and they send you all of your fertility hormone details. So they test 8 different fertility hormones. You do have to do the blood work on day 3 of your cycle. So I did purchase this at the end of my last cycle, and I've just been holding on to it until it was the correct day. Inside of the package, you do get 2 blood collection cards. You get a couple of cloth bandages, you get band-aids, and you get 3 of the little finger prickers. It was very easy to use. The directions were very easy to understand. You just want to clean a finger with one of the alcohol wipes, and then you want to prick the side of the pad of your finger. I didn't let myself think about it too much. I just kind of did it because I hate needles, and if I had thought about it more, it would have taken me forever, and I would have gotten really nervous. It does say to wipe off the first drop of blood, and then you want to place 4 large drops of blood in the square on each of the 2 collection cards. So this did take a few minutes for the blood drops to come out. It does say that if you don't have enough blood in one finger, that you can prick another finger. And so I do end up having to do that halfway through. You do want to make sure that the blood seeps to the correct line on the card. Once you get all of the blood on the cards, you let them dry completely. I think it does tell you how many hours to let them dry. And then you're gonna put them inside of the little sealed bags that are included, and they do include the shipping label, the return shipping. I just walked it right out to my mailbox and put it in there with the flag up, and I did get an email when they received it, and then it took, I believe, 10 days before I was emailed my results. Overall, I feel like this was a really easy way to get all of your fertility hormones checked. I definitely recommend this box. I will link below where I got it from Amazon. And yeah, that's all. Today is cycle day 4, and I just picked up my prescriptions. So we have the Clomid, which I will take days 5 through 9 starting tomorrow. And then we have progesterone, which I start on day 14. It's currently cycle day 13. And I fully intended to come on here sooner and update you guys, because I thought I was gonna have some pretty intense side effects, but I did not have any. I had read online that some women can have pretty horrific side effects, and my doctor warned me about it as well. She said it can be like menopause and PMS put together times 100. But I actually did not have any negative side effects. The only side effect that I had was I was extra thirsty, which encouraged me to just drink a ton of water, which was a good thing. So I actually think that that was like a positive side effect. It's currently James's 2nd birthday, so we are having a pool day, and my family is getting ready to come out here. My dad is here and Jelly's here too, and we're all keeping an eye on him. So the next step is I have an ultrasound tomorrow on cycle day 14, and they will just check my follicles and see, you know, how my body has reacted to it, and we're gonna kind of go from there. Okay, whew, it's hot. I just had my day 15 scan to check my follicles and my lining. It was originally scheduled for yesterday, but it got pushed today because of my doctor's scheduling, which wasn't a big deal. So today I had my scan. It actually worked out really well, because this morning I was emailed my Modern Fertility blood work results, not sponsored. So I was able to print those out and take them in and go over them with my doctor, which was amazing, and something that I wouldn't have been able to do if I had had my appointment yesterday as previously scheduled. So that worked worked out really well. I was able to go over all of that and just get all of my questions answered, and it was overall a really good appointment. I'm super happy with everything. So for my blood work, they tested, I think, 9 fertility hormones plus your thyroid. So they test your LH, your estrogen, your testosterone, AMH, FSH, I might be getting some of the letters wrong, but there's like 9 different things. They pretty much test everything plus your thyroid. And for me, every single thing came back normal, except I was on the very, 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 very end of the normal range, the low end of the normal range for both estrogen and testosterone. So I kind of wanted to go over that with my doctor and just like make sure that that wasn't alarming. She was not alarmed at all. She said that it was completely still within a very okay range, even though it was at the very, very tail end of like literally as far low as you could get and still be in the normal range. She said that it was fine. So the good news is my blood work looks totally normal and great in terms of all of my fertility hormones. So that's good. So as far as my ultrasound, my lining was at, I believe, a 10, and I haven't ovulated yet, which she said was incredible. Now, I don't know what the normal range is. I'm gonna have to look it up when I get home just because I'm curious, but she was very, very happy with the thickness of my lining. And then she also said that I have 3 very, very large dominant follicles. So 2 of them are on my left side, and they are both about 30 millimeters. They are about 3 centimeters each. And 1 is on my right side and is about 2.5 centimeters, 25 millimeters. So she said that if she had to guess, obviously you really can't know because sometimes they won't all ovulate or they won't all have eggs in them, or, you know, there's so many things that could happen. She said if she had to completely just guess, she would say that the 2 3-centimeter ones on my left side are both going to ovulate and release eggs. She's not as sure about the one on my right side just from the way it looked, even though it is big enough definitely to have a mature egg inside. She's thinking the left side is the more dominant ovary this cycle, and that's the one that has the 2 largest ones. Like in my mind, I'm just thinking, you know what, that's 2 chances that one of them will stick. And that is so, like, it makes me feel so hopeful for this cycle, which is also dangerous because if I get too hopeful, then I'll be even more disappointed, you know, if it doesn't work out and I don't get pregnant. But that is just something that you have to accept when you're trying for a baby. Like you will probably get disappointed. And I have been, you know, for the last 12 cycles. So I'm trying not to get too hopeful, but I'm very, very hopeful. She wants me to start taking progesterone pills tonight, 200 milligrams, and keep taking those every day. And then she's gonna adjust it on day 21 according to wherever my blood work levels are. And other than that, it's just gonna be waiting the 2-week wait and, you know, waiting to test. So I will see you guys, I guess, on day 21 when I go in for my blood work. I guess I'll just update you guys on anything that's happening. At that point, I will be, you know, 5-6 DPO. So yeah, I will update you guys then. It is currently day 23 of my cycle, and I'm here for my progesterone blood draw. It got pushed 2 days because I ovulated 2 days later. So I'm gonna run in right now and get my blood done, and then I will come back and kind of update you guys on what has been happening since the last time I updated. That was a super quick and easy appointment. They just did the blood draw and then I was able to leave. I didn't even see my doctor. They just need to be able to monitor my progesterone levels. So I'm on day 23. Last time you guys saw me, I was on day 15 and I just had my scan, and she had told me you're probably going to get a positive ovulation test either tonight or tomorrow. So I went home and I took an ovulation test around 5 o'clock in the evening. It had been negative that morning and it was a blazing positive at 5 o'clock in the evening. So they say on average you ovulate 36 hours after your positive ovulation test, give or take 12 hours in either direction. So that would have put me at 5 o'clock in the morning on day 17. So the night of day 16, I had really bad cramps as I was falling asleep. It wasn't bad enough that I had to take anything for it. It wasn't like period cramps, because I get excruciating period cramps where I have to take painkillers around the clock for 2 to 3 days straight every cycle. It's awful. It's literally debilitating. This wasn't that bad. I didn't have to take anything for it, but they were uncomfortable as I was falling asleep, and I was pretty sure that I was actually ovulating that night. I had to move spots because this lady pulled up right next to me and was literally like all up in my grill, like trying to like watch me film. It was making me uncomfortable, so I moved spots. Anyway, so what I was saying is I was expecting to see my temp rise on day 17, but actually I had a temp dip on day 17, which is a pretty common pattern on my charts. The day of ovulation, I have a dip and then it spikes the next day. And I've read that that's like an extra estrogen surge that lowers your body temperature before it pops back up. And so on day 17, I had a dip. On day 18, it skyrocketed. It was a huge temp rise and it stayed high for all 6 days. So that did confirm ovulation, which is incredible. And I just am in kind of that waiting phase now, which is the worst part. My doctor is going to look at my progesterone levels from today's blood work and maybe adjust my dosage depending on what the levels are. I am on 200 milligrams a day currently. I didn't take anything to get pregnant with James at all. We got pregnant completely unmedicated, but I did have a pretty bad hemorrhage at 6 weeks. We actually thought we were losing him. And I was put on progesterone at that point through my entire first trimester. So because I have a history of having needed progesterone to stabilize that bleed, she's wanting to have me be on progesterone from the beginning. So that's kind of why she's like being extra careful with the progesterone dosage, just to make it as hospitable as possible for this potential, you know, egg to implant in these next few days. So like I said, I am 6 days past ovulation currently, and I'm in that really difficult waiting phase. I find days 5 DPO through like 9 DPO to be the hardest part of an entire cycle of trying to conceive. It's just like the first half of your cycle, there's so many steps and so many distractions. Like, you know, you want to take your medication on certain days. If you're doing a medicated cycle, you have to get scans, you have to take your ovulation test, you have to time everything, you know, the way it needs to be. And then afterwards, after you've confirmed ovulation with 3 high temperatures, you're kind of just in that phase where you literally just have to wait. Like there's nothing more you can do. You just can't test yet because it's too early, and you just have to wait. And I just find it the hardest days of the entire cycle. Wow, I feel really nervous. Okay, so it is 12 days past ovulation, 12 DPO, and I'm about to take a test. And I get really, really nervous on test days because I know that if it's negative, I'm just gonna be so sad, especially this cycle, because I just have felt so much extra hope and excitement. And something's telling me that the test is gonna be negative. I just don't have symptoms. I mean, I don't think that I would because I didn't with James, so I don't know why I put so much stock into that, but I do. Maybe I'm protecting my heart in case it is negative, but yeah. So anyway, I do have a first response early result test to take. This is the most sensitive test that I'm aware of. 12 DPO is a little bit on the early side. My period isn't due for 2 more days. I start every single cycle on 14 DPO without fail. So it's a little bit early. I mean, there is a slight chance that it could be negative and I could still end up being pregnant. But with James, I got my positive on 8 DPO. So 4 days even before now. I don't know if that means I'm an early implanter or what, but I have a feeling that whatever the test result says today is going to be like the actual result. I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm nervous. I'm sorry, guys. It's just been a long month leading up to this, and I feel like everything's riding on this test, and it just makes me so nervous. Like I want to throw up. Quick update, I did get a phone call from my doctor with my progesterone results that you guys saw me do a blood draw on, and my progesterone level is at a 47, which is extremely elevated. They want to see anything above a 5, and mine was a 47. I do know that the scale of how they measure it is different in Europe or Australia, so if you're over there, it'd be equivalent to like a 120 or a 130. But it basically means that I more than likely did release more than one egg, because I did have those 3 follicles, but just because you have a follicle doesn't mean there's an egg inside. You guys, I'm so nervous. Okay, I'm just gonna take this because now I'm rambling and I know you guys just wanna see the results. I would too if I was watching this. So I have this test and I already have my pee in a cup right here. I'm not gonna show it to you because it's gross, but brand new test. I'm gonna dip it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm gonna time it for 5 minutes. And I'm not gonna make you guys wait in real time because I hate when people do that on pregnancy reveals. I'm covering it up. I'm gonna set my timer for 5 minutes and I'll be back to look at it. Wish me luck, please. All right, it's been 5 minutes. I'm gonna look at it. It's negative, guys. No, it's negative. Okay, well, I think this next cycle we might try another round of Clomid. I don't know. Thank you guys for following this month. I might vlog the next one depending on what the response is to this one. I don't know if this is interesting to you guys. I enjoy watching these videos, but maybe it's just because I'm going through the process right now. But I thank you for watching and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.